Meghan is scrambling very hard now to kind of figure out what is she going to do now with this huge deal she had from Netflix to, create content. Hasn't done any content except for the documentary.
Things are taking a dramatic and unexpected turn for Meghan Markle as fresh controversies, legal concerns, and resurfaced public tensions begin to build a far more troubling picture than before. What once looked like a carefully managed journey away from royal life is now being pulled back into intense scrutiny, with questions growing louder about her decisions, public image, and the pressure surrounding her name. As new details continue to emerge, the story surrounding Meghan Markle is becoming more complex, more tense, and impossible to ignore. So, what do you think? Are these developments being blown out of proportion? Or is there really something serious going on behind Meghan Markle's public image? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. To help us create more videos and uncover the latest royal drama, please subscribe. The quiet shift of Archewell. What initially looked like a simple, harmless rebrand of Meghan Markle's Archewell Foundation gradually began to attract growing attention and quiet doubt. Rather than showing strong growth or renewed confidence, the shift toward Archewell Philanthropies felt noticeably softer, more restrained, and carefully controlled. This subtle change left many observers curious and unsettled, quietly wondering what might truly be unfolding behind the scenes and why the tone had shifted so unexpectedly. For Meghan Markle, who carefully shaped her life after leaving royal duties around strong independence and a desire to make a global impact, this change did not go unnoticed by observers. Critics and commentators soon began to wonder whether her original vision for Archewell was facing difficulties behind the scenes that the public could not clearly see. The carefully polished public language remained in place, but the overall energy and direction behind Meghan Markle's project started to feel less confident and more uncertain than it had been before.
Prince Harry and Meghan Markle are definitely shoving off their Archewell projects onto other charities.
Over time, even small changes in Archewell's branding began to draw attention and fuel discussion. Some observers noted that the tone surrounding the foundation no longer felt as bold or ambitious as it did at the time of its launch, while supporters of Meghan Markle defended the organization, insisting that restructuring or rebranding does not necessarily signal decline. Critics remained unconvinced. For them, the quieter presentation only deepened doubts about what was really happening behind the scenes. Some also noted that the quieter tone of Archewell Philanthropies contrasted sharply with Meghan Markle's earlier public messaging, which often emphasized large goals, global outreach, and strong personal conviction. In public discussions, this contrast fueled more curiosity about whether the foundation was shifting direction or simply going through a quiet internal reset. Still, no official explanation suggested any major problem, and the foundation continued its work as before. But the perception gap between message and mood continued to grow among outside observers. At the same time, media commentary began to treat the change as more than just a name update, reading into the tone, timing, and messaging choices surrounding Archewell's new direction. Even without any clear statement of concern from Meghan or her team, the softened public image of the project became a talking point among supporters and critics alike. Over time, this mix of polished messaging and quieter structural changes created a sense of uncertainty in public perception, even as the foundation itself maintained continuity in its stated mission and ongoing activities. For many watching from the outside, the shift was enough to spark ongoing discussion, as people tried to understand whether this was a simple restructuring or a bigger change in vision that had not been fully explained yet. Meghan Markle's Archewell Foundation, which she built to establish her independence after stepping away from royal life, is reportedly very quiet at the moment. But could this silence point to a bigger plan unfolding behind the scenes? Or does the situation on the ground suggest a more challenging reality for Meghan's foundation? Let's uncover the details. Meghan's big vision meets reality. Meghan Markle's vision for Archewell was always big and bold from the start. It was meant to be more than just a foundation. It was designed to be a global platform focused on change, storytelling, and creating real impact in people's lives. The idea was to bring attention to important issues, support communities, and use media and partnerships as tools for good. But while ambition can spark a powerful beginning, it is not always enough to keep an organization moving smoothly over time. Behind the polished public image of meaningful work and carefully crafted mission statements, some reports and outside observations suggest the reality may be more complex than it first seemed. Running a global nonprofit, even with strong branding, celebrity attention, and wide public support, often brings serious challenges. These struggles are not always visible to the public, but they can affect how smoothly projects move forward and how goals are achieved over time. There have been mentions of rising operational costs, the slow pace of some projects, and the difficulty of turning very big ideas into clear, measurable results. These are common issues that many organizations face, especially those that aim to work on a global scale, while also trying to maintain strong creative direction and public engagement. What began as a hopeful post-royal mission driven by purpose, ambition, and a desire to create real change may have gradually faced the same quiet challenges many large charities encounter. Over time, issues around long-term funding, clear structure, and consistent delivery often emerge, testing whether big ideas can be sustained beyond their inspiring beginnings. When an organization grows quickly in public attention, expectations can grow even faster. People begin to look not just at the message, but also at the outcomes. They want to see clear results, visible impact, and steady progress over time. Meeting those expectations is often more difficult than launching the original idea. At the same time, building systems that can support global projects takes time, planning, and constant adjustment. Even well-funded and well-known organizations can face delays, restructuring, or changes in focus as they try to find the most effective way forward. In this light, Archewell's path reflects a common reality in the nonprofit world. Even the biggest and most inspiring dreams often run into real-life limits, where funding, structure, and execution matter. To survive and succeed, such organizations must keep adjusting, learning, and evolving to remain truly effective over time. So while the public story of Archewell often begins with inspiration and high hopes, the quieter reality may be one of learning, adjustment, and the ongoing effort to balance vision with practical execution in a demanding and fast-moving world. Beyond the reality of managing a foundation, which is quite demanding and challenging for Meghan, has she really enjoyed the independence she once craved after leaving royal life?
Prince Harry and Meghan stepped down from royal duties last year and moved to the United States.
And has her journey outside royal protocol and restrictions truly been successful? Now, let's explore the hidden trade-offs between creative control and global influence. Meghan's post-royal balancing act. After leaving royal life, Meghan Markle and Prince Harry introduced themselves as fully independent individuals. They spoke openly about freedom, the ability to make their own decisions, and the chance to build a future without the limits of royal rules.
Buckingham Palace has confirmed that the Duke and Duchess of Sussex will not be returning as working members of the royal family.
This marked a major turning point in their lives, and many people viewed it as a brave new chapter, full of hope, fresh opportunities, and a clear sense of purpose and direction. However, independence in the real world is rarely simple. While it often brings freedom, it also comes with compromise, adjustment, and unexpected limits. Over time, Meghan Markle's approach to her work and public projects appears to have gradually evolved in response to these realities. Instead of always building everything from the ground up, there seems to have been a growing focus on working alongside established partners, institutions, and organizations that already have systems in place. This kind of shift is not unusual for public figures who move into large-scale charitable or media work. Established organizations often offer structure, resources, and experience that can help projects move forward more smoothly. They can provide stability, clearer processes, and access to wider networks. But at the same time, working within existing systems can also mean giving up a certain level of direct control over every detailed decision or outcome. For Meghan Markle, this creates a very delicate balance to manage. On one side, working with partnerships helps her stay active, visible, and influential across the world. It also gives her the chance to support causes she cares about while reaching larger audiences and relying on experienced teams to help move projects forward. But on the other side, these same partnerships can also reduce how much control she has, making it harder for her to personally guide every detail of a project from start to finish. This delicate balance shows what it means to shift from a fully independent vision to a more collaborative way of working. It is no longer only about having strong ideas or bold plans. It is also about shaping those ideas to fit within existing systems, schedules, and expectations. This can sometimes reduce full creative control or slow decisions, but it also brings structure, support, and coordination, helping ideas grow into real, organized results. In this sense, Meghan Markle's post-royal journey can be seen as an ongoing process of adjustment. It is about finding the middle ground between personal vision and practical structure, between independence and collaboration, and between influence and shared decision-making. Rather than a fixed path, it reflects a continuous effort to adapt, refine, and navigate a world where even the most ambitious goals often require cooperation to fully take shape. Post-royal life has not been easy for Meghan Markle, as she may have hoped when she left royal duties behind. But what strategies is she adopting to stay relevant? Are these approaches free from obstacles, or is she facing new challenges she may not have fully anticipated? Let's uncover the details. Meghan Markle's new survival strategy. By 2026, Meghan Markle's public work no longer looks like one clear, single mission with a straight path. Instead, it appears more like a mixed and flexible strategy made up of different roles and projects that run side by side. Rather than focusing on just one direction, her activities now seem spread across several areas, each with its own purpose and audience. On one side, Meghan Markle continues to take part in ambassador-style appearances linked to charitable causes. These moments are often focused on social issues, community support, and global awareness campaigns. They keep her connected to the world of philanthropy and allow her to remain visible in conversations about change and impact. On the other side, there are growing media and business-related ventures that are tied more closely to her personal brand. These projects often involve storytelling, production, partnerships, and commercial opportunities that extend beyond traditional charity work.
Once the latrines were built so that girls had access to clean hygiene and bathroom facilities while they're at school.
They reflect a different part of her public identity, one that is shaped by media influence, creative control, and long-term brand building. This combination creates what many describe as a hybrid model. It offers clear advantages. By spreading her work across different areas, Meghan Markle can stay constantly in the public eye, while also reducing the pressure that would come from relying on just one type of project. It also allows for multiple streams of activity, each supporting her overall visibility and reach in different ways. However, this same setup also creates real challenges. When charity efforts and commercial projects run side by side, it can become hard for the public to clearly tell them apart. The line between doing good for a cause and building a profitable brand may slowly blur, even when each project is meant to have its own clear purpose and structure. For some observers, this overlap creates confusion. They may find it harder to understand where one role ends and another begins. Is a particular appearance part of a charitable mission, or is it also connected to a broader media strategy? These questions often arise when public figures operate in multiple spaces at the same time. At the same time, this kind of blended approach is becoming more common in today's world, where influence, media, and philanthropy often intersect. Still, for Meghan Markle, it places her in a position where she must carefully manage how each part of her work is presented and understood. In the end, her 2026 approach reflects a modern, complex reality, one where visibility, impact, and business interests can exist together, but require constant balance to maintain clarity and trust in the eyes of the public. Meghan is adopting different strategies to stay relevant and maintain the independence she sought after stepping away from the royal family. But can she truly move away from her royal identity? Does that identity actually support her growth and visibility, or it still clash with her reinvention in ways she cannot ignore? Now, let's dive into the unending clash of royal legacy. The identity clash. Meghan can't escape. At the very heart of Meghan Markle's public journey lies a constant and often quiet tension that follows her almost everywhere she goes. On one side, Meghan Markle still carries the weight and attention that comes from her past royal connection. Even after stepping away from royal duties, that history has not disappeared. It continues to shape how the world first sees her, how headlines are written about her, and how many people interpret her actions. The royal link acts almost like a permanent shadow, following her into every new project, appearance, or statement, whether she invites it or not. On the other side, Meghan Markle has worked hard to build a completely different identity. She presents herself as an independent woman, a modern public figure, and a media personality shaped by her own choices rather than royal tradition. This version of her life is built around personal branding, creative freedom, and influence within entertainment, business, and philanthropy. It reflects a more Hollywood-style path, where image, storytelling, and individual voice play a central role. The real challenge is that these two identities rarely fit together smoothly. One is shaped by tradition, royal institutions, and long-held public expectations that come with history and structure. The other is built on freedom, flexibility, and constant reinvention. where personal voice and self-expression lead the way. Both are strong in their own right, but they often clash, pulling in different directions and shaping how the public interprets every move with mixed views. Because of this, every move Meghan Markle makes tends to be viewed through two very different lenses at the same time. Some people interpret her actions through the lens of her royal past, expecting certain standards, behavior, or meaning attached to that history. Others see her through the lens of celebrity reinvention, where branding, media strategy, and personal storytelling play a bigger role. This overlap creates a constant double lens through which Meghan Markle is seen. Every choice or public appearance is rarely taken at face value. Instead, it is picked apart, discussed, and interpreted in different ways, depending on whether people view her more as a former royal figure or a modern independent personality. Over time, this ongoing clash between royal legacy and modern reinvention has become a defining feature of Meghan Markle's public image. It shapes the conversations around her, influences how her projects are received, and ensures that she remains a figure who is constantly discussed, questioned, and reinterpreted. In the end, her journey reflects the difficulty of fully separating from a powerful past, while trying to build an entirely new public identity in a world that never stops comparing both. It has been very difficult for Meghan Markle to fully separate herself from her royal family affiliation, no matter how hard she has tried. But what could this connection to the royal family potentially cost her? Could it have implications for her security arrangements? And how would such concerns be handled by law enforcement and security agencies? Let's find out. Meghan Markle's New York safety scare. Meghan Markle was once again involved in a serious safety scare, this time in New York City, an incident that quickly drew global attention and sparked wide public concern. What started as a normal public appearance reportedly turned tense and chaotic, raising fresh worries about her safety, privacy, and the challenges of moving through highly crowded public spaces under constant attention. According to documents connected to a legal case involving Meghan Markle's request for police protection in the United Kingdom,
Prince Harry and Meghan Markle.
Full armed police protection when he comes back here because he's not a frontline royal.
A senior official from the New York Police Department described parts of the situation as involving what they called reckless behavior by paparazzi. The comments suggested that the level of pursuit and crowding during the incident had gone beyond normal media coverage and entered a more dangerous space. The review of the event, which was referenced in official correspondence between the New York Police Department and London's Metropolitan Police, confirmed that authorities had taken the matter seriously enough to carry out an internal examination of what happened. This investigation focused on the period after Meghan Markle left a public event, when the situation outside is said to have escalated. For Meghan Markle, this incident did not exist in isolation. It added another layer to long-running concerns about her personal security, especially in environments where large crowds, photographers, and public attention are all present at the same time. Since stepping away from royal duties, she has often spoken, directly or indirectly, about the challenges of maintaining safety while living a highly visible life. The New York episode also reignited a wider global debate about media pressure and personal boundaries. Supporters argue that public figures deserve protection from unsafe levels of pursuit, especially when family members are involved or when situations become chaotic. They point out that there is a clear difference between reporting news and creating dangerous conditions in the process. On the other side of the discussion, questions continue to be raised about where the line should be drawn between public interest and personal privacy. In today's media world, where cameras are everywhere and information spreads instantly, that boundary is often unclear and frequently tested. For Meghan Markle, the incident served as a clear reminder that separating public life from personal safety is never easy. Even simple, everyday appearances can quickly turn tense and overwhelming when global attention, cameras, and constant public interest are involved, making normal moments feel far more complicated and pressured than expected. In the end, the New York safety scare added to an already complex picture of life under constant observation, where visibility brings influence and opportunity, but also ongoing challenges around security, privacy, and personal space in an increasingly crowded media environment. Beyond Meghan Markle being a target of paparazzi due to her royal affiliation, what else does she still engage in that continues to reflect elements of her royal past? And if her connection to royal status were completely removed, would any of that influence or relevance remain tied to her identity? Let's uncover the details. A global spotlight tour. When Meghan Markle traveled to countries such as Nigeria and Colombia, the visits quickly became major international talking points. From the moment her arrival was announced, attention built across news outlets, social media, and public discussions, with many people closely following each stage of the journey. The trips were carefully organized, with structured schedules that included formal receptions, high-level meetings, and public appearances with local leaders, organizations, and communities. Many observers noted that the overall atmosphere of these visits carried a strong royal tour feeling. The way events were arranged, the formal tone of the welcomes, and the attention given to each appearance reminded some people of traditional overseas visits once carried out by senior royal figures. Even without any official royal role, the style and presentation of the engagements felt polished, ceremonial, and highly controlled, as if every detail had been carefully planned to project a certain level of global importance. Supporters of Meghan Markle saw these international trips in a very positive light. They viewed them as meaningful examples of global outreach and cultural engagement, where important social topics could be highlighted on an international stage. In their eyes, the visits showed a continued effort to connect with different communities, support humanitarian conversations, and use public influence to draw attention to issues that matter beyond entertainment or celebrity news.
Meghan Markle and Prince Harry may no longer be working royals, but their recent trip to Nigeria.
However, critics interpreted the same events in a very different way. Some questioned whether these carefully staged visits were unintentionally or even deliberately recreating the atmosphere of royal duties. Despite Meghan Markle no longer holding any official royal position, they pointed to the formal structure of the events, the global media attention, and the ceremonial feel of the appearances as signs that the line between independent work and royal-style representation was becoming less clear. For Meghan Markle, these moments did one clear thing. They kept her constantly in the global spotlight. Each visit or appearance quickly turned into headlines, public debates, and strong reactions from different sides. As a result, her presence stayed alive and relevant in international conversations, keeping her influence visible across the world. At the same time, this level of visibility also brought ongoing debate. While some focused on the symbolism, presentation, and influence of the visits, others questioned what lasting results came from them. This contrast added to the larger conversation about modern public figures who operate at the intersection of media attention, humanitarian work, and personal branding. In the end, the visits to Nigeria and Colombia highlighted how easily global outreach can also become a discussion about image, intention, and impact, especially when every moment is watched, recorded, and interpreted by a worldwide audience. Royal affiliation still helps define some of the global attention and respect Meghan Markle receives on the world stage. But what would happen if she were fully detached from that royal connection? Could her personal brand and influence without the royal link still command the same level of recognition and respect she once enjoyed? Let's find out. Meghan Markle's uncertain future. Today, Meghan Markle finds herself at a turning point where her future carries both promise and pressure in equal measure. She remains a well-known figure across the world, and people still watch her actions closely, but the way she is followed has changed. The constant spotlight she once had is no longer as steady or automatic as before. Instead, attention now comes in waves, rising and falling, which creates a new and more complicated challenge for how her public life continues to grow and stay relevant. In earlier years, after stepping away from royal duties, almost every announcement, appearance, or project involving Meghan Markle would quickly become a major global topic. Now, while interest is still strong, it tends to come in waves rather than staying steady. Some moments draw large attention, while others pass with less noise than before. Because of this, every new move she makes is carefully observed, discussed, and analyzed from multiple angles. Meghan Markle still holds several important advantages. She has influence built over years in the public eye, access to large platforms, and a level of global recognition that very few people in the world possess. These strengths allow her to reach audiences quickly and shape conversations across media, philanthropy, and entertainment. However, maintaining that level of visibility and relevance over a long period is becoming more complicated than it may have first appeared. One of the key challenges is momentum. In public life, momentum is what keeps attention flowing naturally from one project to the next. When that momentum slows, even slightly, it often requires more effort, planning, and strategy to keep interest alive. For Meghan Markle, this means each new project does not just stand on its own. It also carries the pressure of sustaining a larger public narrative that has been building for years. At the same time, expectations around her continue to evolve. Some people look for consistent impact and clear results from her work, while others are more focused on her personal journey and media presence. Balancing these different expectations adds another layer of complexity to how her public path is understood. This is why the biggest question surrounding Meghan Markle today is both simple and heavy at the same time. It is not just about what she will do next, but whether her current path can truly support itself in the long run without constant reinvention or adjustment. Can her projects, partnerships, and public image maintain their strength and direction over time on their own terms? Or will she need to keep reshaping her approach to ensure that attention, relevance, and influence do not gradually fade? In the end, Meghan Markle's present moment reflects a familiar reality for many public figures who operate on a global stage. Early attention can be powerful, but long-term sustainability requires constant balance, careful planning, and the ability to adapt without losing direction in a world that is always watching, always reacting, and always moving forward. So, what do you think about Meghan Markle's situation? Can she succeed without any connection to the royal family? We would love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe.